world. I have a special episode. I really mean it. Today, I'm going to show you how you can use any model from almost any provider inside Claude Code CLI, Claude Code Desktop app, Claude Cowork, Codex CLI, and Codex App. Yes, and you don't have to be subscribed to any of these services or providers. And technically, you can even use free models with all of these tools. Yes, completely free, and you don't have to have subscription. Yes. So let's jump in. So I'm really proud to introduce Relay AI. This is my latest open source project, which is completely free, open source. You can check the code, see what's doing, replicate, fork, break, contribute, of course, encouraged. And what this tool is allowing you to do, essentially, is to insert any model that you can think of into any of these tools. And yes, you're probably thinking, how can it be? Because some of them are using different backend. Don't worry, I took care of this. My solution is essentially a proxy, gateway translator, and a launcher. Let's jump in. Let's install it. Let's see what it can do instead of just me talking and yapping. So, installing it, very simple. You need node.js, and if you don't know what it is, just install or ask your Claude, your Codex, if you have OpenCode, just ask it to make sure you have that installed on your operating system. And technically, this should work on Windows and Linux as well. I did most of my testing on Mac. That's what I have, sorry, but it should work. If not, put an issue on my repo and I will fix it. You just open a terminal. So, on Mac, you just go on your search and you type terminal, for example. I am using iTerm, so I'm just going to use that. And here it is. I'm just going to paste it and run it. And once it's done, I am ready to rumble. So Relay AI. So here we go, version 0.6, and you can see all the command. We support Claude, Claude App, Codex, Codex App, and it can run as an API gateway server if you want to connect multiple tools instead of the ones that we don't launch. For example, some VS Code plugins that support OpenAI API backend or Anthropic backend. And I'll show you how to do that, of course. First thing we need to do after install it is to add providers. And the command to do that, let me just clear that screen, is relay AI providers. And I try to, even though it's CLI based, I try to make it user-friendly. So it's wizard based. You don't need to know commands or anything. Nothing here is tricky with different complicated flags. You run a command, you'll see a wizard, and you'll see that throughout the product. So let's add a provider, and I'll show you multiple types of providers. Obviously, we don't support all the providers out there in the world, but if there will be a demand to add support for providers, I have the framework to add more, but I try to keep the ones that are the most commonly used ones. So let's add a provider, and you'll see that we have few options. You can import from OpenCode CLI, which is one of the tools that I started this solution with. So OpenCode, it's open source tool. And let me just switch into it. Is a tool that you can launch, and it supports multiple providers. It has its own mechanism to support multiple APIs. And so I modeled my provider mechanism based on how they do it. Because, they're open source and they're really good. So why not, right? So what I'm going to use, I'm going to copy this API and I'm going to go over here and I will add OpenCode as my first one. So I'm going to select here and I'll show you all providers. This is what we have. So we have Grok, Mistral, Together AI, Cerberus, Deep Infra, XAI, and Perplexity if you like to use their model for some reason, Cohere, OpenAI, Gemini, Alibaba, and of course OpenRouter, which will be one I'm sure a lot of you will be using because it's also provide free models, right? And also some others that are available. So let's add OpenCode. I pasted the API that I just copied from the site, and it asked me, where do you want to keep the codes going forward? I'm going to keep them in my keychain. I'm on a Mac, but the same mechanism should work on Windows and Linux. We're using the same credential storage on each one, that just to keep it secure and easily accessible for the tool. And that's it. So now you can see I have OpenCode and Zen available to combine their 45 models, and you can see the breakdown between the two. So that's one. Let's add another one. I'm going to add just one more provider. I'll actually add two more, and I'll do it quickly, so I may fast forward so you'll see the process, but I will add Anthropic and I will add OpenCode. And OpenRouter added 341 models to play with. And next, I will add Anthropic, and then I'll show you a couple of other options. And I'll add a provider, select, and I'll just do browse all providers. Anthropic is all the way to the bottom. Maybe I should sort this alphabetically. And there we go. So I have 3 providers, but as you can see, we have 2 other options. You can add using OAuth. For example, if you want to use your ChatGPT Plus or higher subscription, OAuth, you can do that instead of using APIs. So why pay for APIs if you're paying for subscription? So that should work. And the same thing with XAI. So if you're on X Premium or Premium Plus or Grok Heavy, you can also do the same thing. So let's do that right now. I'll add Grok. You'll see device code option. That's what I'm going to use on my device. I'm going to click. I'm going to copy this and paste it into my browser. Continue. Allow. You'll see I am logged in. And let's do the same one more time with OpenAI. I'm going to die device code. It's going to ask me to open it. Log in. Continue. Continue. Signed in. There we go. So I have providers, but I have other providers that I defined in OpenCode. And I'm going to import providers from OpenCode CLI. And yes, I will fix this. So now as I import, it will compare what I have and what's available internally against its repository of credentials and providers. And I'm just going to keep mine. So it detects one for OpenCode Go and Zen, and it's importing everything else. And now we also detected the XAI. I will keep mine. And the same thing with OpenAI. I will keep mine. And also for OpenRouter. So technically, I am done. So now I have my providers. Let's launch Claude Code with, let me see if I have Google. Yes. Let's try Google with Claude Code. So very simple. Relay AI. And we'll do Claude. Very simple. And that's will launch the providers. And over here, I'll show you how I built my favorite. But if I'll go and select Gemini, you can see all the models that are available. And let's try 3.5 Flash in Claude. Let's launch it. Yes. And as you can see, here it is. I had to put some weird naming there so they won't be blocked. Obviously, Anthropic does not like foreign models launched in their solution, especially Cowork. And you'll see what I did there. I had to do something weird, but it works. That's what matters. So now let's see if it really works. So let's start with, hey, can you check my NotebookLMs? How many do I have? So now what I'm doing right now, I'm testing if it really works, because in order to respond to me, it will need to use tools and it will need to use a skill. So just to show you that it really, just like any other model that runs inside, and here we go. It detected the skill. It ran the CLI locally, and there we have it. It gave me what I have. So let's see if I have any MCP. So I have context 7. Okay, let's ask it. Can you check context 7 and tell me how do I run OpenCode as a server. Let's see if it works. Now it's actually testing its capability to run a tool. And here is the context 7 tool call, and it's going to run query context 7, which by the way is an excellent MCP. If you don't have it, it can retrieve almost all documentation about any product for your AI in a proper format. And this is the instruction how to run OpenCode as a tool. And that's cool, right? So let's try to move to a different model. So now what you see is something very interesting. You'll see that I have different models available, and I'll show you how I do that before I move to the next tool. But I have, for example, MiniMax. So let's move into MiniMax, and this is coming from OpenCode. So I'm switching completely different providers. Now I'm going into my OpenCode subscription, and yeah, it's going to switch, should be fine. And let's see if it works. Can you check my Perplexity MCP usage? Now I'm testing if it's able to detect the Perplexity. Let me see if it can do that. I was a little bit vague. Yes, it's using the MCP and it's running the tool. And it says I'm free. That is correct. Yeah, I messed up I didn't renew my Perplexity. So that's actually, it's okay. That's the right answer. And let's see if it has a context from the beginning of the call. What was the first ask from me to you in this conversation? So it should highlight that my first ask, can you check, actually it is my NotebookLM. Yes, that's, can you check my NotebookLM? And there you go. That was cool, right? Now, let's move into the second element I wanted to show you, and that's building your own repository. In order for you to be able to switch between models, it will usually use the default ones, the recent one you use, but you can build your own repository of models. You have two commands. It can be either relay AI models or relay AI favorites. And you can see what I have. You can build up to 20. I think that should be sufficient. If you need more, let me know, but I think that should be sufficient for most of you. And let's show you how to add. So you add a model, you can do from select all providers, which will be a wide search, or you can go browse by provider and select one. So let me try to do select for MiniMax M3 and see where I can get it. So I have MiniMax M3 from OpenGo already in favorite, or I can use one for OpenRouter. That's awesome. Let's do Quen. Okay, so Quen Max or 3.7 Plus. Let's add this as well. And I want to try the Kimi K. Let's do K27, 2.7 that was released. And that's the code also available on OpenCode. So now I have a couple of models. And let's add another one. I want to do Haiku. So I have Haiku available from my Anthropic APIs, and that's what I will be using. And done. So now you saw me build the favorite. So let's try to see how this works on Claude Cowork and Claude Desktop, Claude Code Desktop, which is, if you're not familiar, it's this tool, right? You can see I just download, I'm not logged in, I'm not using it whatsoever. And what I'm going to do, Claude App. It's going to ask me, what do you want to do? I'm going to load actually all my favorites instead of selecting a specific one. And it say Claude Code is running. Do you want me to restart? It will need to modify some files there. I'll say yes. Okay, so now it's loading Claude Code in a special mode called Claude Desktop 3P mode. So what you can see in front of you, this is Claude Cowork and Claude Code. You don't get the Claude chat, the Claude.ai, because that goes directly to their backend cloud, but you get a fully functional Claude Cowork and Claude Code, and you don't have to be subscribed to Claude at all. at least for a while. I don't know, until Anthropic will figure out how to block this. But you can see I have all these models that I selected available. Let's see if Kimi K works. Let's load a folder. Let's do this. Can you create a simple website on this folder? Obviously, it's a very generic prompt, not so great. We'll see what Kimi K27 will. Yeah, okay, they're getting smarter. They don't like vague requests. And you'll see it's presenting you. So you're already seeing that it's using the built-in tool in Cowork to ask you questions before it's doing things. So let's do personal landing page. So now it's going to work and it's going to start doing its thing, and it's going to ask me more questions. Let's do just clean and minimal. Use placeholders. Just want to get it started, and let's see if it will work. And again, this is Cowork Claude. It's different than Claude Code because Cowork is designed more for knowledge workers, which is essentially Claude Code, but a little bit more restricted. For example, you cannot run scripts or CLIs because knowledge workers can do damage. So it has its own VM, and you can do things in your environment. And let's see what it built. Let's allow. Oh, that's so underwhelming. I did said minimalist, but seriously, dude. Okay, so I think that works. Okay, let's move into something else. Let's move into Code, Claude Code, which is the desktop version of Claude Code. Let's select a different model here. Let's see if GLM 5.2 works today. Yesterday I had capacity issue, and I can ask it, can you improve this website, make it a little bit more modern than the initial version? So I am on GLM 5.2 that was released this week. Let me see if it can detect it. And remember, this was a website that was created by the Claude Cowork. Okay, so this is the upgraded version done by GLM 5.2. It's okay. Again, very simple, minimalist. I didn't give him any information, any detail, any context, so I didn't expect much. It's just to show you that it can actually code and use the tool. So I'll show you more in future videos, but I think for now we got the gist of it. So I hope you enjoyed what you saw. I have a lot more to share with you, but I'm trying to keep my videos below 20 minutes. So in the next video, I will show you even cooler stuff where we're going to use Codex CLI and Codex App with Relay AI, and you'll see similar injection of models into the environment, and this is just the beginning. I encourage you to go try it. And if you like what you saw today and you want to see more videos like this with crazy projects I'm creating, and I do have a lot in the pipeline, other cool stuff that I'm building and vibe coding, subscribe. Click on that bell thingy, like, share, do what you want. Help me to, and maybe buy me a coffee while you're at it. Just kidding. No, I'm not. So, I'm really looking forward to see you in part 2 of this video, where I'm going to show Codex and also how to run this as a gateway to use as an API gateway for any tool that require backend APIs to operate. So thank you very much for your time. I'll see you in my next video, part 2 of Relay AI. Cheers!
AI spotlight illuminating the future of AI.